afternoon. My name is Joe, and today's tutorial is going to be on web scraping. This is for more of a personal use. I can use this as a newspaper, scrape information from various sources, and bring them into one Jupyter notebook so I can read daily. You could use this for other purposes, right? You could look at tweets, newspaper articles, and just anything on the web, really, and bring it in to a Jupyter notebook. First thing you're going to have to do is to install Beautiful Soup, and then import Beautiful Soup 4, import URL lib and URL lib request. If it feels like I'm rushing, I am. I have 10 minutes to get through this tutorial before my video recording quits on me. So next thing I do is I'm going to put in the web page. The web page that I'm using is from the History channel. Right. One thing I like to do is I like to know about what happens in the world. Just learn about the past and our history. So using this right here as my URL, I've named that my history URL. Then I used URL lib request and URL open to actually open up the web page. Since the web page is written in HTML, right, I use Beautiful Soup. I'll go into that web page and then HTML parser so that I can bring it in. And what that does is, first, if you look at it, you can see all this formatting from the HTML. It's not really friendly, so we'll get to how to get to the information that we want. So on the history page, you notice I have this elements. Some of the things that I could do is I could look directly at the topics. These right here. In which case, that way I can decide if I actually want to continue reading or not. So I'm going to use this find function. And then I'm going to find right here, American Revolution corresponds to this right here. Right. So what this tells me is, one, it's divided. So I'm going to use this div. And then I'm going to use this class. And this class is currently category. Right. So going back to my search. Actually, I skipped a part. But the search is right here. This soup find all div class category, right? And if I do that by itself, it's going to tell me all the categories here. But this is still not user friendly. So what I am going to do is I use this for loop, and this allows me to loop through it and also count how many categories there are, right? I also use this text.text to turn the HTML to something that's more user-friendly. So now I can read through the topics and see what this is. And as you can tell, it's easier to read as compared to this. Another thing I want you to notice is I'm going to use this function. I like the newspaper fill. I'm going to use this date time to do a couple things. One, I can determine the date and the time for the day I'm reading it. And then I'm also going to use this print soup title to know where it's coming from. Right, so this day in history, what happened, and the date and time. So that way I get more of a newspaper fill. So if I like the articles, I'm going to continue on. Or if I like the topics, I'm going to continue on to the articles. Right, and once again, I use a for loop. I change the class from categories to day articles. The reason is let's say last day at Volkswagen. Right. It's going to tell me, once again, the various categories, but it's also in the day articles. It's underneath, where is it at? Also in this day. And sake of time, I'm going to look directly for it. Day art. Right. And I'm going to start towards the top because that seems to be where it's at. I'm going to go back to this day in history. I came off of it. And here it is, day articles. So knowing that, I am going to find all those articles and then separate them by this right here, which is P. Right? Because as we notice, here's one article. Right? Here's that one article I was looking at. And these are separated by these P tags. P tag, another P tag. What that's going to do is it's going to actually input the articles. So I can learn about the Continental Congress, Southern Cheyenne Indians, what happened in 2011 with Conroy Murray, and Michael Jackson, and just learn about John F. Kennedy. So all these little tidbits about world history. Now, if I do this over and over again, that can get tedious. So what I did is I decided to make a function. Function I call it soup down, and it is essentially the same as what I had up above, right? I just need to input the URL in parentheses, right? And once again, so here's the URL. This is for word of the day because I like playing Scrabble, and which is mochi. And then I'll input it, right? Now, if you notice, I have def. It just brings it in. One thing that you may notice is I put this bracket too, and the reason is because without it, it comes in and brings all these P's in. But I notice right here, this P is the second P. Well, it's actually a third, so there's 1, 2, 3. So by using this, I have now just narrowed it in down on the definition. And I can beautify that a little more and just put it in text. Now I could do the same thing with New York State lottery numbers. I have my New York lottery here. I have the URL, and let's see what the winning numbers were. Up 44, 47, 49, 69, 75. So as you can see, I can bring in multiple items that I care about, and I could put it all in one place for daily reading if I want to. Hope this gives you a better understanding of what web scraping is available or what you can do with web scraping. There's a lot of good resources out there. Thank you for your time. My time's about to expire. So have a good day, and I hope this helped.